So in this video, I'm going to highlight some of the key areas that I was looking at when I first started analysing this student, how I went through about discussing the ball flight that he was looking for, and then what sort of moves he was making with the club and with his body that were influencing his ball flight. He was a pretty solid ball striker, setting up to hit a cut here when we first met. And overall, his ball flight was a little bit too low. He was getting a lot of thin shots. And the main issue, he said, is that he was really struggling with the timing of his shots. If he had a layoff, hadn't played golf for a few weeks, it would take him quite a while just to get to a point where he could hit it solid again. He's middle-aged and shoots around 80, just to give you some context on his level that he's playing at. So what I'm going to draw here is just a couple of lines for references. These aren't anything particular that I would draw every time that I see a student, but they just do give me some areas that I can reference with the student when I'm going through a lesson, and also to show, just general body movement, general club movement, anything excess that I see from upper body standpoint that's moving too much in a way that's potentially going to affect his contact or direction. So I've just got to line up the lead leg here, and I'm just going to circle his head, and I'll do that from both sides. So one of the things that kind of stood out to me that was having a major effect on path was really in the first move here. His club went and hands went a long way outside, and he went into kind of an early flex move with his lower body. So you can start to see that hands and club are moving quite a bit outside, with the lead arm getting quite disconnected. And we start to see from the face-on view, we start to see quite a lowering of the body as well. Kind of see a dipping and a lowering of the body. And a lot of that for me is happening through the legs. So we see this dipping of the head because he's going into like a little bit of a sit-down move in his backswing. We also see a very under-rotated look with the upper body. And this is really a combination of two things. For me, the fact that his arms are just separating from his body over here. And two, he's not really turning his torso. He hasn't got really any movement through his lower body and his upper body. So those are a couple of things that sort of stood out to me and gave me a sense that he's going to be finding it very difficult from here to get the club back down into position. So at the top of the swing here, for me, it's a very underturned position. He lacks a little bit of extension through his trail side here, and he's kind of very underturned. That then causes him to just kind of lift his arms off his chest in somewhat of a weak backswing position. Now, he was still able to generate speed from here. For me, he has a very dynamic move back down into the ball. And for that reason, I felt like he was going to be a good golfer to work with. You can kind of see here he does a pretty good job of lowering his left arm to a certain degree. Still probably a hair steep, which his TrackMan number showed. He was very much down and across the ball. And from here we see him really kind of chasing his upper body forward. Very strong impact condition, almost a little too strong for me, as his ball flight was coming out far too low. And from here we kind of see his upper body chase out ahead of his lower body, which indicates to me that he really lacks extension going through here of the pelvis, and any kind of side bending as well of his hips, which should start to balance out his upper body in this position. Interesting, as his exit is kind of lowish here with the club head, we start to see his hands go into this high disconnected position, almost a little bit of a fake finish relative to where his club path has ended. So what's going to follow here is a couple of drills that we worked on, and then a before and after, again, which highlights just some of the key positions that we worked on and some of the changes that he's made over the past few months.
Yeah, go for it. Very good. So grip end there is going, not going to touch the wall. Show me one where it goes too flat. And you crash into the wall. Okay, so get stuck there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then go again. Yep, and just do the downward one. Full hinge, full hinge of the wrist, so the club's almost, yep, so 45 there, good. Hips forward more. Nice. And again.